President Trump fulfilling a campaign promise to formally recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and move the U.S. Embassy.
Previous presidents have made this a major campaign promise. They failed to deliver. I am delivering.
What the president did today was, one, listen to the will of the American people. They just unanimously voted again 6 months ago, Republicans and Democrats, to do this.
Well, the decision sparking a ripple effect all around the world as furious Palestinians burn American flags and hit the streets for days of rage. Let's get right to Conor Powell. He's live for us in Jerusalem for reaction. Good morning, Conor.
Hey, good morning, Heather. Well, sort of two different responses that we're seeing across the region, and not only here in Jerusalem and in Israel. International condemnation by a lot of America's partners in the Arab world and also in Europe who have real concerns that this move could spark violence. But here in Israel, there's been celebration. There has been praise with President Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. This is a formal declaration. The embassy will still take some time to move. The State Department and the White House need to plan a position here in Jerusalem where they're going to build it. They need to buy the land. They need to design it. So this will take several years, according to White House officials. However, over the night, they here in Israel, as part of the praise for President Trump's decision, they put images of the American flag on Jerusalem's old city. Israeli politicians from across the spectrum, not only conservatives, but in the moderate and liberal parties, they all praise President Trump's decision. Palestinians obviously very frustrated and angry with this decision. Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian president, says this undermines the ability of the United States to be the honest broker in the peace agreement. And they are very upset that this sort of removes one of the main issues that had been agreed upon to be a negotiated settlement in terms of a peace agreement between Israelis and Palestinians. Saudi Arabia called the move irresponsible, while the UK Prime Minister Theresa May said the move is not helpful in the pursuit of peace. Now, in terms of violence, we really haven't seen much in the way of Palestinian protests getting violent. There were some protests in Bethlehem and Ramallah in the last 24 hours where they burned some American flags and pictures of President Trump. But we haven't seen mass protests that have turned violent or anything like that here. It's been fairly muted by both Israelis and Palestinians here in terms of on-the-street demonstrations. That could change in the next 36, 48 hours, as there have been calls by Palestinian leaders for days of rage. But it isn't clear, Heather, whether or not this will turn into sort of mass protests on the street. There are some commercial strikes right now here in East Jerusalem, but so far not the violence that had been predicted.
Thankfully. Conor, we're going to talk much more about this throughout the show. Thank you so much. We appreciate your report.